plague. Time of a plague. A lot of illness and death and sadness going on around us. And we wonder, are we missing the point? Are we, and then like Omer comes along to us and says, no. If today, right now, you're in a space where Baruch Hashem, you're feeling the blessings of Hashem, the plague stopped for a day, then we get together and we celebrate. And we celebrate strong, and that's why I think this year our Lag BaOmer has not only be as happy as last year or the year before, it has to be the happiest one ever. Not because we're chas v'shalom forgetting or ignoring the suffering of Am Yisrael and of the entire world, actually, that's happening, but because of that. Because there's so much sadness and suffering, our celebrating Lag BaOmer isn't ignoring what happened before and after Lag BaOmer. It's precisely for that reason that we have to make such a special celebration out of it. But why are there so many different opinions? If you actually read about it, the different girsais in the Gemara there, what does it mean, 33 days, and when did the 33 days start? And you'll find so many different. South Africa, the Rabbi Kurtztag gave us a shiur to all the Rabbanim a few weeks ago about why we have this, we do it this way. But does it really have to be so many different opinions? Can't we all just do the same thing? And not only about the Omer. Why do we all have so many different customs? We daven from different sidurim. We have different minhagim about how we keep the actual Omer, what we do, what we don't, but everything. Why are there so many opinions? And that's really the beauty of what Lag BaOmer is coming to teach us. Not only this year, but this is true for all years. You see, what was the problem with the students of Rabbi Akiva? By the way, Rav Johnny, I read the source sheet both for the high school and the primary school, and it was actually amazing. It was, both of them were beautiful, and I learned a lot from them. So thank you for them. So you're not only my very good friend, but you're also my teacher, because you taught me a lot today. But it also left me with a big question. Because who were these 24,000 students? It doesn't say that 24,000 rabbis passed away, or 24,000 yeshiva bachurim passed away. It describes them in one way. We don't know their names. We don't know their person. We know one thing about them. They were Talmidei Rabbi Akiva's students. Now, if anybody is brave enough to unmute themselves, I don't think you can chat here. Are you able to type? No. If anyone's brave enough to unmute themselves and share with me one teaching from Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva Omer, tell me a teaching from Rabbi.
Ahavta l'recha kamocha.
Was the Sondlers that answered, or the Brickers?
And the Deren.
Okay. I think if any one of us would be stopped on the street and somebody say, "Hey, you, tell me a teaching from Rabbi Akiva," what would every little boy and girl, every yeshiva bacher, every rabbi, the first thing that comes to mind of the teachings of Rabbi Akiva is what? Yahavta l'recha kamocha. Not that it's an important mitzvah. Ze klal gadol b'Torah. This was, and probably always was, the most famous teaching of Rabbi Akiva. Now, how can it be that these students who defined themselves, or they were defined as Rabbi Akiva students, missed the boat on his most important teaching, most famous teaching, about the klal gadol, the cardinal principle of the Torah? And so I think maybe they didn't miss the boat at all. They actually fulfilled that teaching of Rabbi Akiva. Not only did they fulfill it, it defined their whole life. Because they had this mitzvah, v'ahavta l'recha kamocha. And so when they opened their siddur and they realized the beauty of the siddur that they're davening from, or when they understood the shiur about when you're supposed to start the morning and end the morning of the Omer, and it made so much sense to them, and then they saw their friend or their neighbor that goes to a different shul or goes to a different school or has a different minhag, and they said, oh, I love you so much. I need to teach this to you. And the friend said, yeah, but I don't really agree. But I love you. I can't let you make such a mistake. And they had so much Ahavat Yisrael for one another that they couldn't tolerate what seemed to them to be the mistakes of one another. They were obsessed with Ahava to the exclusion of Kavod. They didn't have respect. Because we love people, because we have so much in common to them. Why do we love one another? Because we're all the children of Hashem, right? But why do you love your friends? Because you have similar sports that you like playing, or teams that you follow, or hobbies that you do together, or interests. We love people because how we're similar, and the people that we really love, we want them to be even more similar. But we respect people because they're different to us. And that's not only the same thing as Ahava, it's almost the opposite. Ahava is about what we have in common, what unites us. Kavod, respect, is how someone is different to us. I have honor to my parents because they're different, they're my parents. But how about my friends that are different to me? Do I show kavod for their other, for the type of the way they learn, or the way they play, or the way they act, or the way they daven, or the way they think? And that was their mistake. They couldn't tolerate the differences between one another. And I think what's so beautiful, especially here in South Africa, is that we have so many different customs and traditions and communities and hashkafas and philosophies. And yet not only do we love each other because you and I are together, but we're also neheg kavod zeh b'zeh. And so if there's one thing that we can all try and do a little bit to celebrate Lag BaOmer, is to find somebody who's in your house. Maybe it's your sibling. Maybe it's one of your parents who you love the other one more. Well, we love them both, but you get along. Find somebody in your house who's different to you, who you don't love as much as you would love someone who's just like you. Find the one who's the most different to you. The one who's been getting on your nerves more than anybody else in the last few weeks. Find that one and say, you know what? You're going to be my Lag BaOmer buddy. I know you're different to me. I don't just love you, though. I respect you, too. And please, God, in the merit of all of us, having a lockdown Lag BaOmer with our loved ones, by showing them that kavod, please, God, we should merit to celebrate this Lag BaOmer all together with Rabbi Akiva, with Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, with Mashiach leading us back to Eretz Yisrael, celebrating it in the third Beis HaMikdash. Thank you very, very much, Rabbi Johnny, for this beautiful opportunity, and to all of you. And I'm looking forward to meeting you all in person when we get to Yerushalayim. Or we're going to go to Miron, I'm not sure. It'll be a bit of a distraction. Miron, Yerushalayim, somewhere or other. We'll figure it out.
All right.
Deren.
Thank you, Rabbi Deren. Thank you, Rabbi.
Pleasure.
We're going to do the raffle. So thank you, Rabbi Deren, and thank you to all organizers, especially Rabbi Altman, and thank you for those inspirational words.